Recently, the Israeli government has repeatedly violated the rights of religious Jews in the Holy Land who refuse to serve in its army. In March 2014, the Israelis passed a law requiring Orthodox Jews to serve, forcing them to violate their religious beliefs. Ever since the State of Israel was founded in 1948, the vast majority of Orthodox Jews have consistently refused on principle to serve in its army. Most Orthodox Jews in the State of Israel are opposed to Zionism. They don't fly the Israeli flag, they don't celebrate the Israeli Independence Day, and they don't serve in the army. Following their religious conviction that the existence of the State of Israel is in violation of Jewish religion and that Jews are forbidden to be involved in their military operations. Furthermore, the army indoctrinates its soldiers in the fundamentally secular ideology of Zionism. Since the passing of the 2014 law mandating the drafting of the Orthodox, the Israeli government has used characteristic brutalities to enforce it. Recently, dozens of anti-Zionist youths have been arrested for refusal to join the army. Religious Jews who stand up for their beliefs are being brutalized. The Israeli police break into people's houses in the middle of the night, drag them out, and throw them into prisons for months and even years. These violent tactics have provoked countless demonstrations in many places throughout the Holy Land, where the members of the anti-Zionist communities have been beaten mercilessly and arrested unjustly. On Sunday, May 15th, a protest took place on Highway Number 1 in Jerusalem against the Israeli police for imprisoning a boy who refused to serve in the army. An Israeli policeman pointed a gun at peaceful demonstrators. When this video spread in the media, many people around the world were finally shocked. On Sunday, July 3rd, Israeli police attacked a crowd of over 1,000 peaceful demonstrators outside a courthouse in Jaffa as they protested the imprisonment of Yosef Shlomo Levi, age 20. Levi was jailed and awaiting trial for refusing to respond to a draft notice. The police used brutal riot control methods, usually reserved for violent protesters, such as trampling with horses and vicious beatings. 7 of the protesters, including Rabbi Leibel Deitch of Jerusalem, were arrested. On Thursday, August 11th, a large rally took place in Kikar HaShabbos in Jerusalem, where leading rabbis of the anti-Zionist Jewish community of the Holy Land delivered speeches on the subject of the draft. On Tuesday, August 16th, in the city of Beis Shemesh, about 2 miles west of Jerusalem, after many residents hung signs on their private homes saying, "We will not join the army," local government officials came down and, in an unjustifiable invasion of private property, tore down the signs. The incidents led to increased protesting. Rabbi Avraham Rabinovitz of Beis Shemesh, who recently visited New York, related first-hand descriptions of the brutality of the Zionist police against the Jewish protesters.
In jeden Sinn ist jeden Moment machen Keules, Ganovim, was heißt, man geht da rein bei jenem Stieb, Akponim, also ich sag zusammengenehmen, hat sie bei Jeden, wir haben gesagt zusammen, in der Mitte, also schon zusammengenehmen, sind sie gekommen, da haben wir nicht also herausgetanzt, also auf der größten Vernehmen, also ich schleppte ab Jeden, ihn eingesetzt, mit der Chusuries, Ich habe schon gehabt, eine Woche später, also ich habe gesehen, also schwere Wunden auf dem Kopf. Akaponim, du sie gewesen Montag, auf morgen Tischabov, so mich da eingelassen kein Essen, Jeden sind noch, wenn also ugeschwach, nicht eingelassen kein Koscher Essen, bis morgen, sage Mitchet.
On Thursday, August 18th, the Israeli police arrested a young man, an orphan, just 2 weeks before his wedding. The community responded with loud protests. The Israeli police arrived on the scene and beat the protesters murderously. A few days later, when the young man was released under the immense pressure of the protesters, he was received with great honor by the anti-Zionist chief rabbi of Jerusalem, Rabbi Tovia Weiss. The rabbi gave him encouragement in the name of world Jewry. On another occasion, the chief rabbi described the situation by saying that there is no place in the world where Jews are oppressed, spiritually and physically, as they are oppressed in the Holy Land. Sunday, August 21st, a large demonstration took place in front of the recruiting office in Jerusalem as a young man was arrested for refusal to serve. The Israeli police responded by attacking the crowd with murderous blows. Jewish communities in America also recently staged several demonstrations, especially on this subject. In May 2013, about a year before the Israeli government passed the law to draft the Orthodox, a protest was held in front of the Israeli consulate in New York to decry the planned bill. One of the speakers introduced the event by explaining its purpose: to proclaim that according to the Jewish religion, Jews are not allowed to have their own state or wage wars against other nations, and that by forcing us to serve in its army, the Israeli government is by definition forcing us to transgress the Torah.
We are here to protest today against the government of Israel, which is all established against our Torah and against Judaism, and it creates itself only to fight with the neighbors. Now they went to a new stage to force our children into their army, that we should do with them together what is forbidden in our Torah, to go to fight with the other people, which is forbidden for us.
In an interview during the protest, Rabbi David Feldman explained to the media the seriousness of Orthodox Jewry's predicament.
It's our communities in Jerusalem being beaten, harassed in a terrible manner. People don't know because this is not exposed to the general public. But we have people here with first-hand stories to tell you how many of our colleagues in our present day, in the last week, one of them were placed in a cell for 48 hours without any food, any drink. The other one was placed in a cell for 24 hours in the very pitch dark, just in order to break the policies.
In his speech, Rabbi Feldman called for the international community to come to the aid of the religious Jews in the Holy Land.
We are talking about intimidation, harassment that no other country did to our people ever since Nazi Germany. This is bad and this is tragic, and we plead with nations of the world, with politicians, American politicians and worldwide, please stand up to our rescue and help us to be freed from this illegitimate philosophy of Zionism and the government and the establishment of Israel.
The keynote address was delivered by Rabbi Chaim Yosef Gottlieb of Jerusalem, a well-known speaker, teacher, and heroic activist who has spent many long terms in Israeli prisons. Rabbi Gottlieb made the point that the Zionists have a long history of crimes, not only against other nations, but also against the Jews themselves. He also mentioned the 3 oaths with which God commanded the Jewish people to stay in exile.
Ich später haben sie gemacht, haben in der Schule ausgerufen, Belchuman gegen die Mesäulern. So haben übergenommen die 3 Schwieres. In wie viel machen so eine Schigare getragen, wo nicht so. Som geeft aan Medina met Gerev, som geeft aan Gerev aan gegen die Mesäulern, die Vater gegen die Schweine, wie viel Iden, so will ich Urheitzel, ein Einlager der Filme Iden, soll euch ertreißen, oder euch ertreißen, in Kitzlem, sie weiß über die ganze Welt, die Frieden schlugen sich mit den Mesäulern, die Frieden schlugen sich mit den Araber, sie machen klares Röferrotfilm, und durch dem sind Iden als Akune in die ganze Welt, sie weiß, die Televisions, wie Iden mit kleinen Gebärden, mit schwarzen Socken, nach Budelitzon, Gai mit Wixeln, Gai vielen Tanken, und durch dem sind sie malbisch, achsidische Levisch, auf seiner Soyame, auf dem Balkon, nach Budelitzon. Die Zeitungen, die Araber sind in der Oivim, der ist der Oiv, aber zu sein machen die alle Sonne.
Another major protest in America took place on June 9, 2013. Tens of thousands of Orthodox Jews assembled on the streets of New York City to protest against the existence of the State of Israel and to condemn the proposed law to draft yeshiva students.
Das Leute, aber das seine Rahmen, sind nicht so die ganze Welt, als er mit tun und Zahal. Wir hatten teure, aber wir haben was teure. Die 4 Jahre Bucherem, da gewonnen das Land. Hier Roisch, ich es dumme mit aller Weiche beteure. Geherig weil ich habe, der tun und Militär. Das ist ja wie was, dann die mit ihnen ist Ruhe. Das ist ausgehört, also ich es dumme. Und das so viel Team in den Hammer angelegt. Man hat dem auf dem Reden noch nur das Land. Es schmatt doch aus klar ist Ruhe. Wo sind die alle Weile, sind das Beizen, am Rieden, am Algeschmeilen. Also hat man nichts gelernt. Der Eizen mit ihnen. Is bis heute auf der Burg schon schwierig, auf der Burg auf mir die Bimmer auf der Burg, der ärmste Weiße beteuert und der bitterste Reunisch. In Samaringules, ganz der Hand von Erzisruhe, in Samaringules, der beschäftigt ins geschickte Gules heran, jetzt verstehen wir nicht den Gules, Eizamiki ja Gules, aber ins Gleimer, jetzt haben wir ein Minne wie Jude für mich ein neuer Schemisch.
At a massive demonstration on July 11, 2016, in front of the Israeli consulate in New York City, one of the speakers, Rabbi Aaron Jacobowitz, explained the terrible situation brought about by the Israeli army.
Religious Jews have lived in the Holy Land for hundreds of years peacefully. They came there to study Torah, pray and absorb its sanctified atmosphere. They came there to live peacefully alongside the residents of the land. Unfortunately, the Zionist movement came later with a different purpose. They came to create a state in violation of the Torah. Very soon as they came, they instigated conflict along the local non-Jewish population and alongside with all the neighboring countries.
Rabbi Jacobowitz continued to explain that the state's true purpose is to uproot authentic Judaism and to bring the younger generation over to the Zionist camp.
When the State of Israel was founded in 1948, its leaders understood that they could not force the old religious community to participate in their army and their wars. After all, these people desired only to live in peace as they had previously, as their parents did before them. Decades went by, the Orthodox community grew, and when the Israeli leadership changed its tone, they could not stand to see a large community of old-fashioned Jews in their midst. Jews who keep the ideals of real Judaism, living quietly and peacefully, following the Torah, taking no interest in their political power. They wanted the religious community to join them and abandon their religion. And what better way to change the religious community than to draft the young ones into their army and indoctrinate them? Let no one be fooled. The Israeli army does not need these young boys. The Israeli army recently turned away thousands of qualified recruits. No, they don't need the Orthodox. Their only goal is to force them to abandon their beliefs. Their only goal is spiritual genocide.
At a rabbinical conference in Mahwah, New Jersey, on August 11th, 2016, Rabbi Aaron Jacobowitz explained the fundamental reasons for Jewish opposition to Zionism in general and to serving in the Israeli army in particular.
Since Jews have been exiled from the Holy Land, we are not to aspire any political nationalism. We are bound by divine oath to accept the yoke of the diaspora and live in peace and harmony within the nations that divine destiny has placed us in. Jews are forbidden to create a state of their own, to rebel against any nation, to wage any war against any nation, or to shed any blood. Therefore, the greatest rabbinical authorities vehemently opposed the Zionist movement from the very beginning and refused to recognize their so-called state of Israel that was created. This is why we will never serve in their army of a state that we do not recognize. Our community refuses to participate into that immoral Israeli army. We will never support it. We will not abandon our Torah. We will not change our beliefs. We would rather go to jail than to be part of it.